Hello? It is a bit dark, actually. Darker than yesterday. I don't know why. Hello, everybody. Am I online? Am I? I should be. Okay. Hello. I can see that you are leaving your questions. Hello there. Mickey, thank you very much. Okay, I just want to ask you if you can hear me correctly and if you can see me correctly. It's a bit dark here. I actually have a webcam this time, but it seems a bit darker. Thank you very much, Chuchi Sapanta, for confirming I am live. Sound is okay also. Thanks, Lula, very much. Bent, Forest Murmurs, Mick Flair. How cool. Thank you so much, everybody. You know, the darkness is for some reason coming from this side, but I don't want to open that big light. Actually, let's try it. Let's try it. Let's see what happens. If I go like this, yeah, I think it's better. Maybe this webcam has different settings for light. So, yeah. Well, thank you for being here. I'm going to wait just a little bit more and just a little bit more for people to come, because people are always gathering up and coming late. I try to be on time, but I know people are sometimes gathering late. I'm a bit tired because, as you saw before, or maybe you haven't, we went on this trip on our bikes to the lake through the forest in winter time, -4 degrees, but it felt like -10. And we had to get up early because there's almost no daylight. So we had to take advantage of the daylight. And now I'm a bit tired, but the good thing is that it's not me answering today, actually. I'm just going to be the medium here between you and Anéeka of Temmer, who is with us. Yes, it is confirmed. She's here. Thank you very much, Anéeka, for your help. The situation on Earth is quite critical, and there are a lot of important things happening on Earth, and not only on Earth, off Earth as well. And that's what we are here today to try to understand more. And who would be a better person to help us understand if not Anéeka, who is actually right now herself in the orbit in the 5D, officially part of the Federation and very close to the whole political, exopolitical situation of things. So we have this is a huge opportunity for us to learn directly from her, someone like her, and a big honor. So thank you again, Anéeka, for coming. Thank you, Matthias, and thank you, Lula, who will be helping me with the questions. They'll be helping me with the questions. Yes, I'll be mostly doing the reading, and there they will be catching your questions. So now, about the questions, it's very, 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 very important that you put them in caps. That's one rule. Second rule, try to make them on topic. And the topic is global situation on Earth and off Earth, politics, exopolitics, Federation, Cabal, Starseeds, how it is all connected, and the whole panorama of things globally, cosmically. Anéeka will try to answer the questions as much as she can, but you have to understand the limitations here, okay? She's typing, so she's only limited to what she can type. So the answers and the questions have to be quite direct and precise. If the questions require a more complex answer, she may not be able to answer satisfactorily for you. So you just have to keep that in mind. Thanks, Wolflight. So keep that in mind, okay? That's important rule. So caps, questions on topic. Another rule that I would like you to respect as much as you can. Try to resist as much as you can. Try to keep the questions in the chat. In other words, don't be chatting and rambling about other unrelated things, because we're trying to catch the questions, and it's not an easy job for Matthias and for Lula to catch the questions. I slowed down the chat a little bit. Let's see if it works. It's the first time that I use that slow chat mode. Let's see how it's working. I already see so many questions there. They are probably already working on them. Let's see. Actually, Anéeka, okay. Yeah, okay. Yes, sorry about that. Okay. Well, let's just keep going here. Sorry, just Anéeka sent me a message. I had to respond to that. Well, let's go to the chat where I am with her. Okay. Now that what she said threw me off a little bit, so I will regather myself here. I actually already have some questions answered by Anéeka. I actually myself caught like 2 questions from the comments, not from this chat, but from the comments earlier today, and I passed it on to her, and I have the answer. And we already have some other questions answered as well. Another rule, very briefly, I want to mention: try not to. 1 second. Okay. Okay. Yes, sorry, just chatting with Anéeka here. Okay. Another rule, let's try, I know the topic is federation and global situation, current affairs, but let's try not to talk too much about the shot itself, okay? Because this is a very delicate subject, and the channels and the videos are eliminated. You already know that. Censorship, channels are being deleted. Actually, on my Spanish channel, I already received 1 strike right now, yes, on my Spanish channel, and I can't publish anything for a week, because I published a video with Dr. Alex, who is talking about the shots and all that. So let's try to avoid that subject, okay? All right, let's just go right to it. Let's not waste Anéeka's time. We don't know how much time she has available. I'm not looking at the chat. I'm just now going to where the questions are published and the answers are published. Okay, so first, actually, I broke my own rule, and I actually did pass a shot-related question to Anéeka earlier today, which I'm going to leave for later. I don't want to keep it in the beginning, in case someone is watching and censoring. So I'll keep it for later. But now we have this question. Someone asked this question. Okay, it's from the comment section. I don't remember who asked that question. I'm sorry. Actually. No, I'm not sure who. The question is, currently, we see many lawsuits against mask mandates, quarantine measures, and PCR tests, etc. Are these lawsuits and legal fights at the moment seen as an effective strategy to end all this from the perspective of the Taygetans? The response is brief but concise. Fighting that way is one of the best options if you can, legally. Please continue. Please continue. Now, another question is a sort of a declaration, and it's a declaration statement to the Galactic Federation. I think the follower called Robert sent that declaration, and my question is, do these declarations matter to the Federation? So the declaration goes like this. It's a part of the declaration. My declaration and statement of fact to the Galactic Federation. Human leadership has been compromised. They do not represent myself or humanity. I request, as an equal to the members on the Galactic Federation Council, for military intervention to assist humanity in dealing with the reptilians and their alliances in the Orion Empire. Now, Anéeka is answering. This is quite a thorough answer. Orion, as an empire and as a council, is not a problem. They are more federation. They were a problem before, but not anymore. Not anymore. What you call human leadership has always been compromised. The real leaders are never seen by the population, and it is with them with who the Federation deals with. Requesting for assistance at this time is not taken into consideration by the Federation. They tend to ignore such petitions as coming from a minority. However, I still think they should be done. From a personal perspective, each one of you must know that voting does give your consent to be exploited by the faction that the vote goes for, and at any level. I asked Anéeka about the clarification on this point. She's going to give a clarification on this point a bit later. A real vote is not to vote. It is useless anyway. If you are forced legally to vote, you can still nullify all the pamphlets. I know this sounds against democracy, but what we see from here is that there is no democracy any longer. And you are still giving your consent to those politicians to represent you legally. This is an unfair double standard because on one hand, the Federation does not take official politicians as real leaders, and on the other, they do see voting for them as consent from the people. I am perfectly aware that that is wrong. Now, here I asked, I didn't understand this part, Anéeka, and I'm quoting her. From a personal perspective, each one of you must know that voting does give your consent to be exploited by the faction that the vote goes for, and at any level. Anéeka clarifies this point. It means that for the Federation, if you vote, even for your local, whatever politician, you are giving him and his group consent to do whatever with you and represent you legally. And with legally, I mean even from the eyes of the Federation. So it would mean that if you vote, the Federation legally cannot help you if the person and group you voted for starts doing things against you because you gave them your consent. The Federation moves very much with legal affairs and procedures. And yes, there are lawyers up here too. They see your choosing to vote as total consent, and you are relinquishing your severity to represent yourself in the eyes of the Federation. And this is one of the strongest legal reasons why they do not intervene, as the majority of people have given their consent to whatever is going on Earth. That was a very good answer. Thank you very much, Anéeka. I'm going to leave the interpretation of this to you in order to keep going with the questions, answers here. Okay, now let's go to another place here where we have the questions, answers going on. Okay. The question was from Emilio Alvaro y Casa. Gosia and Anéeka, thanks for all. Federation has been in control of the Earth in previous resets. The answer, it has been in control of all resets since the Great Flood, at least. Okay, Marta and Jaime Cubides is asking, is a holographic system with scaling council, stepped council, and matriarchal way still an option? She says, it is one of the best political models for a planet. It will remain an option as long as humans in general, the masses, are prepared for it. At this time, a lot must come to pass before it can be implemented. And humans must also be given the opportunity to decide what political system suits them best. Okay, I continue. Isaias Flores is asking, hi Anéeka and Gosia, what was the result of the meeting between the Federation and the Council of Alcyone, and how do the awakened see us? By the way, if I'm making some mistakes in reading, it's because I'm reading now. I haven't read this before. I'm reading as I read live. Okay, the meeting ended up in an almost disaster, as they are fragmented now and almost operating as two different councils. Asean and Federation do not agree with what is going on Earth so far. Remember, Alcyone, that's Pleiades. Go Pleiades. Next question from Gudrun Erla. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing the names. Hi, Anéeka. What does the Federation gain by working with secret societies with this shot thing and reducing the population? Has the Federation been infiltrated, compromised, or threatened? Answer from Anéeka. The Federation does not see things the same way with the same interpretation of people on Earth, meaning that it will consider all evil to be part of the experience on Earth and generated by the population itself. The Federation has not been infiltrated. It has always worked that way. This is very important because there are many comments there saying the Federation is infiltrated, AI, reptilians, and all that. Let's not exaggerate here. So the Federation has not been infiltrated. It has always worked that way. They did not intervene in the past during times of great turmoil, such as World War II and World War I, and they will not intervene as we would all wish for this time. It gains nothing by working with secret societies. It just simply works with whoever is in control of the planet. In this case, secret societies, deep Illuminati, Cabal. Okay, Mumber Thrax is asking, if diplomacy breaks down, could humans be of use in combat roles for Alcyone Council? A very fun question. Anéeka's answer, not directly, only by each human's choice. Cannot say more at this time. Interesting. Okay, Forest Murmurs has a question. Does Federation Code say something about optimizing evolution of civilization on planets? Does Federation Code say something about optimizing evolution of civilization on planets? Anéeka responds, it does, and it operates all the time. According to them, that is exactly what they are doing. The main reason they do not intervene directly is because they do not see what for. They feel that if they help directly, they will take the credit away from humans. And if they do the work for them, humans would not learn from what is going on. They see it as necessary for humans to grow from a mentality of depending on someone else to being responsible for yourselves. That's how they see it. Okay, next question. Ulises Ramirez. Anéeka, a question from heart. How are you dealing with all this? Thank you for this question. Anéeka responds, it is not easy for me, even trying to see things objectively. It is personally very hard for me to see all what is going on Earth. And as long as I feel I'm helping in any way, I will remain here. But it is very hard for me to be absorbing so much negativity because they are more energy and it affects them much more. Negativity could be even dangerous for them health-wise. It is for everybody. Exercise and meditation help me deal with everything. And all my love to you. Thank you for asking. Yeah, because it's nice to ask sometimes those personal questions. You know, there are people and they have emotions and they are going through difficult times. They're just like we are here. So yeah, it's a nice question. Okay, next question. Big feet. Underline E. It is obvious the battle is going to intensify and land on our doorsteps. Is there any way the Council of Alcyone have any weight to intervene in the plans of Galactic Federation? Thank you. Anéeka responds, Alcyone Council is very strong and it represents all civilizations within the Pleiades star system M45. It does have a lot of weight in the decisions and the politics inside the Federation. So there is a big hope there with the Alcyone of Council. Next question. Romira Gasparoli is asking, if we visualize in a massive way that Federation 5D have no power in our lives, would it be possible to make it true? Response, yes, it is possible. But please remember, very important point here, something that actually Yaski pointed out 2 days ago to me as well. But please remember that the Federation is not an evil entity or organization. It just is. And its ethics differ from the ones you use on Earth, and even we as Taygetans use. So the understanding of things becomes a complicated process of exopolitical interactions. Federation is doing as best as it can as well. The Federation is a multi-layered organization. From above, this is important as well because I got some comments on yesterday's live that it's not true what I'm saying. The Federation is all positive and love and light, and they operate from harmony and peace. Yeah, higher level of Federation, but not this lower level of the Federation. So the Federation is a multi-layered organization. From above, it is all love and light and integration, as many say. It is true. But from immediately above Earth, it is made up of people of non-human, non-terrestrial origin. People like you, with their interests and their wants and needs. They are people too, living and evolving. Very important point to clarify too. That was. Okay, next question from Hector Prat de Padua. Anéeka, what can we do so that the Council of the Federation that controls the artificial 3D matrix here on Earth decides to stop this genocide that has begun? What can we do? Okay, the answer. From below, all you can and must do is resist what is coming as best as you can. That in itself is a powerful message to the Federation leadership. But you all should strive to solve the problem without external help. And from up here, the races that do not consent to Federation procedures will do our best to stop things from this end, as we have already done and begun. So this is a group effort. Those rebel races are doing their best to stop things from happening, but here from us, from the ground level, we have to do our part of the job and resist and fight. And here, as Anéeka says, this in itself is a very important message to the Federation. Okay, Forest Murmurs is asking, the Federation has not established bodies of cooperation among the general population on Earth. So how can Federation's opinion at all be considered qualified in how to save Earth? Okay, it's interesting question. Yes, let me read that again because I read it a bit awkwardly. The Federation has not yet established bodies of cooperation among the general population on Earth. So how can Federation's opinion at all be considered qualified in how to save Earth? Okay, yeah, Anéeka says the same. You have a very good point there. We have observed that as well. That is one of the reasons why we do not agree with their procedures. Thank you very much for your questions. By the way, keep them coming. For now, yes. Quantum Dimension is asking, the Federation has failed. Are you thinking in taking more radical actions, let's say strategies outside the established and legal to address this situation? Anéeka answers, the Federation has not failed. It is just operating as it always has, whether you agree with that mode of operation or not. That is the problem in the first place. No intervention is being regressive as well from the valid point of view of the people on Earth suffering the problem. Strategies are being presented, yes. This from the side of Alcyone Council and allies only. Veronica Ortega has this question. Does the Federation want planet Earth for other purposes, and that's why they want to get rid of the humans? Also interesting question. Okay. Federation already had planet Earth. It is their property. And she puts that in commas. It is their property. They are only modifying it to suit their present needs. Alcyone Council's allied race has claimed that Earth is theirs and not the Federation's, as a comment. Cannot state which. Let me reread this very intriguing statement. Alcyone Council's allied race has claimed that Earth is theirs and not the Federation's, as a comment. So something might come out of that. The main reason they want to get rid of humans is because they see them as too many and will collapse the ecosystems and the entire planet with them. We state that there are other options, not including genocide. The problem here is that in order for those other options to work, people in power, deep Cabal and Illuminati, would need to relinquish their power and resources. And they do not want to give up their power. So that is the main problem here. It is not the Federation who wants to get rid of the humans. That is coming from the deep Cabal and the people in secret societies that control Earth. The plan to depopulate Earth is coming from more humans, essentially, those in real power positions, Cabal, Illuminati, and the Federation is only being permissive to that. And that she put in bold, the sentence. And the Federation is only being permissive to that. And this from Alcyone Council and allies' point of view is as bad as having planned the genocide in the first place. I try as much as possible to stay away from commenting on my own and interpreting this. Crypto Angel or Crypto Angel is asking, does Anéeka think, no wonder the question comes from Crypto Angel, does Anéeka think Bitcoin will help us regain power? I do not see Bitcoin as any real option that would bring on any significant change at this time, as it is as controlled as any other monetary system, only giving an illusion of being free. If it helps you or others, then it is useful, but not in a grander scale. I'm trying to read slowly as well because they are going hard there with questions and answers, and I don't want to reach the end and then have nothing to say. So I'm reading slowly. Okay. Jacko, DSC, is asking, why Alphratans are not with us? Alphratans are Centauri. They are those, rescued humans. They were rescued by the Federation on Python planet, where they were kept as slaves for meat. So why aren't they? They are basically humans, just like our ancestors. So why aren't they with us? They operate within the legal context of the larger Federation, and all their operations come from that Central Federation command. According to them, they are doing what is correct, and they are helping humans on Earth as best they can, according to them. Okay, Shooting Star has a question. How do you view the next months about politics in all worldwide? Thanks. Okay. I'm anxious to see what Anéeka says about that. Okay. The answer. I see the next few months as extremely, I think she meant important. Because it says as extremely, especially if Trump wins. Well, I see the next few months as extremely, let's say, important, especially if Trump wins. And this would be a good sign of change and hope. If Trump delivers what he has promised, of course, if he delivers, that still must come to pass. And if Biden wins, then there may be a civil war and uprising in the US. And it also may filter out into the rest of the world, as it will be clear to all that democracy and all freedom has fallen on earth. And this last sentence was written by her in bold as well, as it will be clear to all that democracy and all freedom has fallen on earth. Okay, next question. Let me just check if everything is okay here. Okay. One second. Wow, so many questions in the chat. Good. Well, thanks. And thanks for sticking to the rules and not having random chats there, from what I see. Okay. Let's continue. Ruxandra Malina is asking, what is the Higher Federation's position on the legal battle between the rebels and the Federation? This is something I was actually talking to Yashi about last night, I think, or 2 nights ago, about their position here as well, even though we did videos about that already too. So what is the Higher Federation's position on all this? Anéeka responds, only of guidance of both sides, as they understand that from above there are no sides at all, only conflicts that reflect the inner state of mind of the people who make up the Federation. The Higher Federation understands that if something is not right and not ethical at one level, any level, lower or upper, then it is not right and not ethical at any level. So their point of view would have to be that one. Their point of view would have to be that one of wanting to resolve everything with respect, love, and integration. They do not agree with what is going on Earth at this time. But as they are beyond duality, Higher Federation, all that, so they are at that integrated state. So as Anéeka wisely said in the first sentence here, they don't see sides. They only see conflicts that reflect the inner state of the mind of the people, whether Federation or Earth. They see it in that integrated way. Okay, the question from Gabriel Ortiz. How many real people does the Alcyone Council count? Because it was stated that Alcyone Council doesn't regard matrix people as people that should be considered in the global count of things. So how many real people does the Alcyone Council count? Also, will the Alcyone Council supersede the Galactic Federation? Answer. Alcyone Council represents represents 11 races within the M45 star cluster as the council organization that sees and takes care of all affairs of the group. Ah, okay. Maybe here the question was different than I thought, or maybe Anéeka misunderstood the question. The question was, how many real people does the Alcyone Council count? And Anéeka is responding about the Alcyone Council itself and its organization. It represents 11 races, 11 interstellar races, because there are also many others that are not interstellar. Okay, the question from Yashar: if the Federation doesn't play by the rules, will you also start to do things on your own and try to help us, like maybe showing yourself openly? Quite a big answer here. She says, Anéeka says, we are already doing things on our own. That's why they consider us to be rebels. We do all we can within our potential and limits within stellar law. And also remember, there are only 30 of them on the ship, Taygetans, 30, around 30, I think, last time I remember. So the answer continues. We do all we can within our potential and limits within stellar law. And now in bold, the Federation is a reflection of what is going on Earth and vice versa. As it is on Earth, it is in the Federation above. Reflection of one another. That is one of the main reasons there is chaos on Earth and in the Federation. The bold stops. The answer continues. The Federation overseeing Earth is not a perfect love and life light organization. It only strived to be that way, but still lives well inside duality. The higher Federation of integrated beings and light beings that guide with love and respect exists. But that is higher above, not this exact space-born Federation that is very much like on Earth, made up of people like you all. Question from Azul Profundo, which in Spanish means profound blue. Hello, Anéeka. Question: how does it affect humans when the Federation considers that critical mass has been reached? How it affects humans when the Federation considers that critical mass has been reached? Answer: they have been saying that for years now. I am not even sure why they continue to say such a thing, when evidence shows contrary to that claim. As Yaski Svaru has explained, even though as Yaski Svaru has explained, even though in number it may have not been reached in number, each awakened person represents and influences a greater number of people in direct relation and proportion to his or her level of awareness. So, a critical mass of the claimed 51% may not be necessary as such. Because as you might remember in some other video, it was also mentioned that one awakened starseed creates as much effect as 1,000 other sleeping people. as it was explained, it's not a democracy. It doesn't go by vote by each person, but by the level of your awakening. And that determines the range of your influence. Okay, I'm reaching the end here of, I mean, they are still asking and responding, but I'm reaching the point where the answer is not given yet. But I will read the question. The question is from Starseed 88. What is Alcyone Council's alternative options to genocide? That's a very good question, because that's something I've been asking myself. Okay, if that's not the option, what are other options? Because Taygetans keep saying there are other options. So let's see what we have the answer. It's a big answer. Let's see. Okay. Those alternatives include the dismantling of the Cabal, the Illuminati, and with them, the present political systems on Earth that have proven to be so ineffective and only partial to those in power. The correct distribution of resources, the correct distribution of knowledge, and this would include ways with which people can understand and take action against superpopulation, like rethinking public perception about all things that hinder the right and free type of birth control. The main way here to confront the problem is the dissolution of the Cabal, the Illuminati, and the present structure of power on Earth, and the implementation at once of a holographic society with the guidance of star races that are rooted in empathy, and that comes from emotional races, such as the ones in Alcyone Council, but not only. And now in bold, this will be discussed in full in the December 31st, 2020 meeting of the Alcyone Council and allies. If you want to know more about, if you are new to the channel and want to know about what a holographic society is, then also look for that in my channel. There is a video totally dedicated to the description of a holographic society. Or go to the website www.zvaru.org, go to transcripts and look there. There's a search button, there's a search place, and you can look holographic society. The transcript will come up. So this is very exciting. I'm waiting for them there to answer more questions. This is very, 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 very exciting about that possibility of all this happening. Let's see what happens on December 31st, the emergency meeting, Asean Council and allies. Okay, the question now is from Ronin. What are the arguments given by the races that, knowing the Federation, choose not to be part of it? In other words, why are they not part of the Federation? The answer: to conserve their racial and cultural identity. That is what they claim, at least. I do not have more detailed information about this at this time. Quantum Dimension is very lucky because now that person is going to get 2 questions answered. They were fetched by our helpers separately. Okay, Quantum Dimension is asking, will you use a muon's communication to continue talking to Gosha, Robert, Dale, and the rest of us if the Federation cuts the internet? But how will I receive that transmission? Okay, and she's asking, they do not have muon reading capacity. If we lose the capacity to enter the internet, we will be cut off from all our friends. Question from Quantum Dimension again. Congratulations, Quantum Dimension. It's your day. What are the best actions you advise us to address? What are the best actions you advise us to address under these circumstances? Anéeka is responding. Civil resistance and disobedience in mass is the answer at this time. The problem is that you are all divided and you cannot coordinate with one another as the regressive control the media and all communications. And in order for this to be able to take place, you must first awaken as many people as possible. Next question, to which I don't have the answer yet. Anéeka is writing. She's writing all this time, typing very fast. Okay. I hope you're enjoying this. These are very, very good questions. Thank you, by the way, and very good answers as well. Quite thorough. Anéeka is trying her best to answer in a as thorough way as she can, given the limitations, typing, and time, because we are rushing through the questions. Okay. So I'm going to read now the question from Yami Hernan. I think that the negative AI is the one that controls the elites and the Federation. The Alcyone Council and the Positive Federation don't have the same perception. There are some people that have been commenting about this possibility of AI infiltrating the Federation. Listen to the answer now. I'm not going to be repeating this in comments. I will, maybe. The answer: we do know there is a lot of negative AI involved here. We know that as a fact. But even the most advanced computers must have someone programming them, at least at first. An AI is only a reflection of its creators. We know there is a very large AI intervention here now, especially within the media and with mind controlling, population engineering, and propaganda perception guiding machine on Earth. Okay. Let me just push here for the answer, because I would like to more specific answer. Do you think that the Federation might have been, I mean, she already said that there is a lot of negative AI involved, but is it specifically, Anéeka, if you can hear me, can you answer that question? Do you think, or doesn't the Alcyone Council and the Positive races don't they have the perception that maybe there is some direct infiltration of AI into the Federation itself? Not the Earth, affairs and all that you mentioned, but the Federation itself. Could they have been infiltrated? Okay. I hope she can hear me and answer that. So in the meantime, I'm continuing. Tiger Hawk 1978 has two questions. First question, does the Alcyone Council support open and direct contact with the Earth population as a drastic measure? And what are the odds of it happening? The response, the Alcyone Council considers open contact as an alternative or a drastic measure to deal with what may come up on Earth as a genocide. It is considering it, but it still must conform. But it still must conform with Federation rules, at least to some degree. But yes, open contact is an option already presented and on the table within Alcyone Council. I didn't know this. This is new for me. I'm learning this as with you. Cool. Okay. The question. Oh no. Another question was from Eighth Sinner. Eighth Sinner is asking, how many allies are standing with the Alcyone Council? The answer, Alcyone Council has 11 races, all within M45 Pleiades as members, and then three external allies only so far. One second. Just want to say something. I'm not sure Anéeka heard me, the question about AI infiltration in the Federation, so let me just put that in there. Okay. Star Blossom has the following question. If the Galactic Federation are so afraid of planet destruction and superpopulation, why don't they release the hidden technologies instead of killing everyone? Very good question. The answer, that is one of Alcyone Council's arguments and solutions as an alternative to genocide. The problem is that, there's always a but, the problem is that in order for that to be able to take place, the Cabal, Illuminati, and all those in secret societies that control Earth must relinquish all their power and resources first. And that is the difficult part. So disclosing high tech is an option, but must be done after removing the regressive ones that want everything to themselves, and as part of the implementation of a planetary holographic society. So it can be done, but after, in the process of setting up this holographic society. Well, yeah, this is a very difficult part. How do we remove the deep Illuminati and all those secret society owners and leaders? Okay, we are here an hour already. Thank you very much for your participation. I have the question from Interessiert mich. Is there any truth that 2032, the year, is there any truth that in 2032 it will again, is there any truth that 2032 will be the beginning of the golden age? Because I see right now the opposite with the transhuman agenda. The answer: all options are still in the air. Remember this. All options are still in the air. At this time, and with fractured timelines as they are now, it is possible. But as we see things from here, transhumanism is what is coming if not stopped. Golden Age, or slavery in the big with capital letter, Golden Age or slavery, two opposites, will depend on the will and the work of the people on earth. You cannot wait for it to happen. You must do it yourselves. External help is not guaranteed, even if we want to. And we do help as much as we can. But in my perception, it will never be enough. So here Anéeka is answering that question I had about the possible AI infiltration in the Federation. And she says, no, that is not the problem. Federation has its own AI. The problem is far more complex. Federation is not negative. It is only in turmoil, as is Earth, being a reflection of one another. That's what Yaski was telling me the other day as well. That's, they are just confused. They are trying to understand things as we do try to understand things, in this cosmic game. And they try, as much as they understand things according to their level of understanding. I better just focus on answers here because I'm going in circles in my sentences. Okay, the question is from Matthew Burkett. If the Federation has failed every time and had to reset, why are they still allowed control? Why not go above them? One second. I don't have the answer to that question yet. There's another question in the preparation there. The answers is in the preparation. The question also is from Asean. That's the name of the username, Asean 1000 años. Hello, Anéeka. What do the Federation understand for critical mass concept? Okay, thank you. That is a username. Okay, well, let Anéeka finish answering those two questions, and let me just take a short break. I'm not in my place. I must admit, this is Matthias's shirt. So it's a bit too big for me. But it's okay. It doesn't matter. These are very important questions and very important answers. Thank you, everybody, for watching and for joining and for giving your questions. And thank you to helpers, to the helpers with the questions. Okay. So the question was from Matthew Burkett: if the Federation has failed every time and had to reset, why are they still allowed control? Why not go above them? The answer is The Federation just is. It has not failed. She said that in the beginning of this life. It has not failed. They are acting as they have always acted. The Federation above is also acting as best as they can. But from above, it is mostly done by counseling and guiding people in lower levels. The problem here is that the lower Federation we are concerned about is also wanting to guide only. And from that lower state, guiding permissively is akin to being an accessory to genocide. At least this is Alcyone's perception of things. Okay, the previous question was also this. What do the Federation understand for critical mass concept? Anéeka responds, as Federation has stated, critical mass is attaining 51% of awakened people. But then again, we must define what awakened people means. One second, I'm just confusing myself here a little bit. Okay, the question is from Jorgen Hoff. Hello, Anéeka and Gosha. The Federation have determined that they will take contact with the Earth in the summer 2021 and autumn 2022, a full collaboration of this planet. Is this true? Answer. We do not have any information that would back up such an allegation. On the contrary, all our problem with the Federation is that they are not planning to do that. So no, we do not think the Federation will show itself anytime soon, if ever they will. But the Alcyone Council might. Okay. Question from Roger, to which I do not have the answer yet. How big is the Federation? This quadrant, this galaxy, or more than just this galaxy? Anything like this in other galaxies and are in contact? The answer, it is galaxy-wide, concentrated in this galactic quadrant. It is made up of at least 500,000 different star races, interplanetary and some that are not by choice. Interplanetary races and some that are not interplanetary by their own choice. This only on one density because the Federation is multi-density. Then the Federation is also present in several other densities, all intertwined and interconnected with influence on one another. It is worse than huge. Worse than huge. So you must understand the complexity here of things. Anéeka, if at any point you wish to stop, just say, I must stop, okay? Because it's been more than an hour. Oh, and Anéeka added also another paragraph about that Federation question. How big are they? So it is worse than huge. We know federations like this one also exist in other galaxies and also may be members of supra-federation. But as Yaski has explained, that is the nature of a higher density federation as it is. Okay, the question from Abel. How did the members of the Federation feel when Tiamat was destroyed in the past? Could they sleep peacefully again? Let's see. Anéeka is responding. Let's see if they could sleep. At some point, I'm not sure when, but at some point, I'm going to also combine all these questions and answers, and I will probably make them in the format of a video as well. At some point. Okay, the answer from Anéeka. So could they sleep peacefully again? It caused great political unrest, as is to be expected, and the repercussions of such hideous act still affects us all today. This is also why the biology of Earth must be kept at all cost. The problem is that they use this as a justification for a reduction of the Earth's population. Very interesting. Well, Soumettre is asking this question. Do Federation have wars in between them? Okay, I'm still asking, I'm still waiting for the answer. One second, I'm actually catching one question myself here. That's an interesting question. Okay, so do the Federation have wars in between them? No, they do not have wars as such within the Federation, but they do have legal and jurisdictional problems, such as the one we are experiencing now between Alcyone Council and Federation. So the question I fetched myself now from the chat is from Samuel Verhaag, and it goes like this. Are the positive Alpha Draconians, the dragons, the Alpha Draconians, likely to join them to help us? Could they invite them to their meeting of next Thursday? Love you all. Interesting. I think there were interaction problems there between the Alpha Draconians and them. They mostly interacted with them holographically, not directly. I think, from what I remember, something like that was mentioned. But yeah, if they are positive, exactly. On what side are the Alpha Draconians? Federation? Not Federation? Alcyone? If they are positive, so who do they support? What's their take on the situation? Okay, I'm waiting for the answer. I'm looking at the chat right now, okay? I'm gonna take this opportunity not to speak, to save a little bit my voice. Because if I talk a lot, actually I get drained easily. Okay, I'm gonna ask this political question here. Okay. So, Alpha Draconians, what's their stand and everything? Thursday's meeting, 31st December 2020, is meant to be for Alcyone members and 3 other allies only, because we all get along and must discuss things as friends and peacefully. Alpha Dracos and others may be invited later on. The problem I see with the Alpha Dracos is that they are very cooperative and complacent with the Federation. Okay. Now, the question from hace 1,000 años is this. What has to do the Federation with the new spatial army of USA and China's one recently? The response is, that is a cooperation between some Earth governments and some Earth affair layers within the Federation. They do talk and cooperate. The problem here is that whatever agreements and improvements never get to the general population. And that is part of what Alcyone and us do not agree with. So it is a cooperation between some Earth governments and some Earth affair layers within the Federation. Interesting. Another question is from Misty Yergin, which is, what is the connection of JFK and Trump? What connection to the Federation do they have? Okay. I also have a Trump question that I got from the chat. Thank you, everybody. Thank you very much, everybody, for watching. There are a lot of people watching these important transmissions. And of course, this is a direct communication with Anéeka of Temmer, who is in orbit in the spaceship right now. Still waiting for the answer here. Maybe as they are continuing, I can go back to that shot question that I had, that I told you about, that I was going to throw in somewhere in between. So the question was, I'm going to read this very fast, so maybe the bots won't catch me. If we get to the worst case scenario, that we, Starseeds, do not have the option anymore to avoid the shot, is there one of the shots currently available which is not as harmful? For example, not taking the mRNA one, but the Russian shot that is at least made on a traditional shot method? They are all harmful. There is no way to know what is inside each, and even the official list of ingredients is extremely doubtful. Taking it is not an option ever. People may even have slight to no side effects, making them and their peers the false illusion that it is safe. But then, sooner or later, and more sooner than later, they will have very horrible side effects that are irreversible. Please understand that taking it is never an option. It is exchanging a pass to do something now for all your life in a few months. This even with no side effects. There are no good shots and bad ones. They are all bad. That was the question. But we already knew that. But it's good to reconfirm this. Maybe to some new people who are watching. Okay, so the question about the JFK and Trump, what the connection do they have with the Federation? The answer, JFK and Trump are on the same side or faction. Trump is trying to continue with JFK's work and Trump is a good friend with John or JFK Jr. We do believe he is alive. We have an over 90% ratio that he is alive and well and in contact with Trump. They talk to the Federation somehow, but up to now, we are not allowed to know. Okay, next question is this. Isaias Flores. Hello. Will Trump declassify everything bad from the deep state? Will the economic reset be carried out on the whole planet? Is the SHOT's agenda deleted? The answer is in preparation. GC Crippler, yes, he might be alive. Over 90% chance, not 100%, over 90. I think a lot has been answered already, and I think you have a much clearer picture of what's going on at this point out there. So any other questions will be like just deepening this what we understand already. There's still a lot of questions rolling through the chat. I'm sorry that we are not able to answer them all. And I know Anéeka always says that as well. She says, I'm sorry, I'm not going to be able to answer all these questions because it's completely impossible, of course. So it's understandable. No need to be sorry. Okay, there's an answer there. Okay. Let me reread the question. Will Trump declassify everything bad from the deep state? Will the economic reset be carried out on the whole planet? Is the SHOT agenda deleted? Answer. Trump has as a possibility and as an option to defeat the deep state cabal, to declassify many things. Not sure exactly what things. The economic reset will be planet-wide. It is word that Trump is only pushing pricks with syringes as a tactic for now. And she put that expression, pricks with syringes, in bold. No, I'm sorry, this is not pricks. This is tricks, of course. I read it literally. Tricks with syringes. There is a word that he's only pushing, tricks with syringes, as a tactic for now, and would cancel them later. The problem is that they already started to prick, now it's prick, people in many places. We believe the agenda has not been cancelled and probably will not be. Okay, the question. Okay. The question from Star Blossom. Besides the Alcyone Council and the Galactic Federation, are there any other federations, councils playing a part on the Earth situation right now? Anéeka responds, as observers only. Several other representatives are here now, but do not intervene. I am not at liberty to state which ones at this time. Crystal Shaman has this question. Who has authority over the Federation? Anéeka says, the higher Federation from higher densities has total authority over lower Federation in a step or level manner. Question from Medveya. Is Melanie Trump Taygeta or Pleiadian? Taygeta is Pleiadian. Is Melanie Trump Taygeta or Pleiadian? And Leticia Ruiz Arroyo is asking, Anéeka, is Trump an ET? Wow. And that's how Anéeka cannot answer the questions is because there's something there cooking. So the first question about Melanie Trump is that in bold, cannot answer that question. Interpret that as you will. And about Trump, I know Trump is human. Okay. Question from Roger. Can non-Federation races like Umno or any other make any intervention in Earth without Federation? Okay. Answer. Yes, they can. As far as I am allowed to say, Ummites are intervening in favor of humanity and outside Federation rules. And so are Taygetans and Caristus, Jupiter, among few others, all from outside Federation's rules and subjected to legal claims and accusations against them for doing so. Rune Degarde is asking, how many ships are in disposal for an eventual intervention on Earth by the Alcyone Alliance? Waiting for the answer. Okay, the answer has arrived. One ship. This one and this one and its smaller vessels inside cargo shuttles and fighter craft. The one they are on is really, really, really big. And then it has smaller vessels inside, cargo shuttles and fighter craft. From the Asean Council, and at this time, Taygetans are alone and only representatives of Alcyone Council here. Sole representatives of Alcyone Council here. Anéeka, how are you doing with energy level and all that? And are you tired? Okay, the question from Johan Gomez. I'm not sure if Anéeka is listening though. Maybe she's focused just on the questions. What about the videos from the calls from planet Earth? I have that channel, Calls from the Planet Earth, where I asked many times for you to express yourself and voice your opinions and whatever you want to express to the Federation and to other races. So what about those videos? We, the Starseeds that made them, did it as decrees. I'm just reading as it says. Did it as decrees for what we wanted for our respective timelines, and the Federation must respect them. Anéeka is responding. They are helping to state the points of view of the Starseeds that do not consent, nor do they agree with what the Federation is doing, basically being permissive. I see all those videos as a very valuable tool. And we have over 500 of those videos already on that side, on that channel. I see all those videos as a very valuable tool. I know Federation members do document the videos and your statements in them. Those videos are needed now more than ever. You heard her. Make those videos, whatever you want to say. You don't even have to come out with your face in those videos. Just with your voice is enough. Whatever you want to state, declare yourself. Okay, Anéeka is saying that she can go for half and more hour. Like it's going to be 2 hours in total, and then we can call it a day. Or she says, or end before if you so see the need. No, we can continue. I mean, I'm pretty sure you guys are enjoying this as much as we are, because I feel we should take this opportunity. This is important time, and we have Anéeka here, so let's use this opportunity as much as we can. Oh, 1 second. One second. Okay, just something that came up. All right. So the videos, okay? The videos. So let's continue for like 25 more minutes. So I asked this question. This was my question that I got. Monarch Aya is asking, if Trump wins, does that mean we are entering in war with China and Russia? And also there's another question from Wild Hair. Who is over the Federation Royal Star family? Can we appeal to them? Okay. Okay. One second, please. Okay. 1 second, 1 second. Stay tuned, stay tuned. We're having some inner dialogue here, inner conversation about a specific question that was asked. Okay, well, the question about Trump, we're not going to answer right now, about the war with China and Russia. Okay, well, let's just continue. Next question is the one that I already asked from Wild Hair. Who is over the Federation? Royal Star family. Can we appeal to them? Answer. Federation has many members that, although holographic, do have a royal family, such as Taygeta. But in Federation, at all levels, they do not work with royal controllers. And I made a video about matriarchy and, well, about the royalty there in Taygeta and how it works, because it is much different than how it works on Earth. It's very important to clarify that. Okay. Um, Next question is from the Japanese name, but in the brackets in there it puts Ronin. What will be the consequences of the human species self-destruction in the Federation? Abel Ronin. Yeah, thank you. His name is Abel Ronin. The username, what will be the consequences of the human species self-destruction in the Federation? Okay, the answer, they will tend to see destruction of humanity as such as a natural process. They do not see humanity being destroyed. They only see transformation and removal of an unwanted number of people who are hurting the planet just because they are too many according to them. And that's underlined, according to them. And that is our problem with the Federation as well. We do not agree. Well, Christine Hanna is asking, how can we best support the Alcyone Council? Crystal Shaman was asking the question there, why is the Higher Federation allowing the Lower Federation to speak to secret societies, representatives, and all that? It's just the higher Federation, they just guide. They don't directly intervene in that way. They are just guiding and directing both Federation and Earth population in that more subtle way, from what I understand, as guides. So they cannot like strictly enforce things. How can we best support the Alcyone Council? Working on the same problem on your end as well. That is, taking responsibility for solving the problem as best as each one of you can. Taking responsibility for your own actions. Civil disobedience in mass, and that's in bold. Civil disobedience in mass to tyranny. Okay. And then we have another question from Quantum Dimension. We all have loved ones who we are responsible for. Cats, in my case. How do we get out of the grid with them to continue holding the fort? Let's see what the answer will be. In this case, I'm taking this time to be silent. I'm just waiting. I hope you're not too bored. Put yourself some music in the background. Well, too bored with my silence moment, not with the answers, of course. That's a good one. Astronomical has a good question. Interesting question. The question is Bill Gates a starseed? Okay. So the question was, how do we get out of the grid? For example, in my case, with cats, to continue holding the fort. The answer: pets are family. That's simple. Take them with you. To go off-grid is a complex task. I cannot go into here because of lack of time and space. But stay away as much as possible from government-controlled areas, all of them on Earth. That task, all of them. On Earth, that task is becoming ever more and more difficult. Still here is asking, what type of support is given to starseeds to be able to start a movement down here? The answer, we can only guide starseeds at this time, as so do others. We are working to see how else we can be of help and of service to you all. And I'm asking this question from Astronomical. Is Bill Gates a starseed? Yeah, I'm very curious about what's the deal with Bill Gates? Who is he inside? Is there anyone inside? I'm going to answer some questions here. Signature worthy. When we leave the matrix, do we wake up on our home planet? If you leave the matrix, you're going to go wherever your frequency takes you, wherever basically your intention takes you, wherever you want to go. If you are in immersion pod, an amazing, amazing video on immersions will be coming up soon as well, then you will be waking up in that immersion pod. That's inevitable. That's where you will be waking up. If you are incarnated from the source, then you will go to the source, and from them you will decide yourself where you want to take as a next step of your cosmic adventure. Okay. Well, that's funny. You know, I love their sense of humor as well. They're very, very sharp and always with humor. Question was, Astronomical, is Bill Gates a starseed? No, he is a hell seed. Hell seed. Born of the most evil people on Earth and member of the most evil societies even to be on Earth. And a nest of countless regressive entities inside. Personification of humanity's lowest and most horrible shadows. Hellseed, that's a new term. Hellseed. It's excellent. I love this new term. I'm buying this. I'm retaining this in my vocabulary. Yeah, stars. Okay, the question is from Jose de Reza. Anéeka and Gosha, my question is, do the Federation realize if they kill all the starseeds, we can choose to come back with full knowledge of what they have done and stop them once and for all? Anéeka responds, good point. And that is already occurring. I'm sure about that. Time is not linear. So what you are saying is playing out now as we speak and at all levels. You there and we here, because we all have unfinished business on Earth. That's why we are here. He's a hell seed. The question is from Kali Girl G. Why does the Federation, well, this was already answered in a way. Why does the Federation support depopulation? Answer, because from their very limited and unemphatic point of view, they see the population as the only way to save the planet of certain destruction. They see the planet as running out of time, and therefore too late for other options. In the parentheses, we do not agree. Starseed 88 has this question. One second. Okay. The question is, can we form Earth Council worldwide among us to start implementing Alcyone Council alternative solutions with or without waiting for any approval from Federation? The answer, with capital letters, yes. Go for it now. And now is also in capital letters and in bold. That is what is needed to be proactive with this exactly. Well said, and with exclamation marks. So basically, the question was to form Earth Council worldwide among us, to start implementing Alcyone Council. So in a way, we will be like extension of the Alcyone Council ideas for Earth, not waiting for Federation's approval. She says, I'm going to read this again because it's important. Yes, go for it now. That is what is needed to be proactive with this exactly. Well said. So who is signing up? Who's going to start this initiative? Free na Seishin. Sorry, it just took me a while to go, because I was thinking about the Earth Council worldwide and how would that be initiated, and if that's what's needed, then I mean, I'm always feeling like, what could I do more? But I don't know. I don't think myself, I'm good with setting up councils and things like that. Okay, Free Nai Seishin is asking, if an Earth-born person reached Yashi's level of consciousness, would he or she need to adhere to the Federation's rules? Or would he or she be free to help the humans as he or she would see fit? I want to catch this question because it's something that many people ask too sometimes. Okay. So the answer to that Yasky question, if we reached her level of consciousness, would we need to adhere to the Federation's rules, or would we be free to help the humans as we see fit? And Anéeka responds, as Yasky is, those people are free and above the Federation we are all concerned with here now. To be on Earth does not limit you in any way to be able to achieve any level of evolution of consciousness awareness. Yasky is free of Federation rules and above Federation, untouchable. And this makes Yasky and others like her higher Federation, in bold, higher Federation, here to guide lower Federation. She's here to guide lower Federation. And now in bold, and all of you can be that as well. Now, I asked this question because it's something that sometimes people ask, you know, Starseeds, that's the name of the username, that's the name of the user, Starseeds. Dear Anéeka, it is enough to create a different reality with our mind focus to change the course of negative events? Thank you very much, sister, and two hearts. Like, is it just enough with our mind and focus? And especially many people say, just focus on the positive and that's going to solve the problem. And the response is, in 3D, it may not be enough, but hold that as a blueprint to work in that direction, as a guiding force, the blueprint. In higher densities, what you think manifests and becomes. But in 3D there, you also need to be proactive in all ways and all levels. Think positive, dream your way and your objectives, and roll up your sleeves and get to work on the project you have dreamed about. That's the nature of 3D. The question is now from Roger Oriol, the last Peter Pan. What would be the represalies? I think, like, I'm not sure if that word exists in English. Maybe it does. Represalies, because that's from Spanish, represalias. But maybe it exists. I'm sorry. What would be, but I don't know how to read it. What would be the represalies by the Federation of your direct interaction to stop all this madness on Earth? Can you be punished? Represalies is like negative consequences. What would be the negative consequences of your direct interaction to try to stop all this? And she says, forceful removal of Alcyone Council ship, this one, and being banned in this location and with all Earth affairs due to insurrection against Federation. If we didn't have Alcyone Council backing us up, we probably would have been long gone now. Is this the question? I think it's from Abel again. Oh no, that's a Japanese name. Not sure if it's Abel. The Federation is of colossal proportions, but they don't. The Federation is of colossal proportions, but don't they have the necessary resources to solve the problems of the Earth without genocide? I'm waiting for the answer. I'm going to catch the question from Yashar, which is also a question sometimes repeated. I think we are coming to an end very soon. This was very, very, very productive. Thanks to the help of our helpers and to Anéeka's efficiency in responding. Okay, I have the answer here, but she's still writing. There's some text in bold. I probably should now translate all this into Spanish and read it there in Spanish channel, or make a video with this translated as soon as I am able to transmit there, as soon as my ban is lifted. Bye, RS. Is going to live with Robert. Bye. Carlos Hernandez, thank you very much for your help. I do have helpers also. Bent is helping me as well. But actually, I noticed that I can do it pretty well myself. I just use Google Translator, which translates pretty well. Actually, I have a trick for it, and then I just check word for word if it's correct, and I correct mistakes if there are any. That goes pretty fast. Okay, so the question was, the Federation is of colossal proportions, but don't they have the necessary resources to solve the problems of the Earth without genocide? Okay, the answer, they do. And that is what we are fighting about. Not only Federation as a whole. Taygeta alone can solve the problem if we were only permitted to do so. We are legally bound for now. And with Federation watchdogs, so to speak, following us around in a complex legal and ethical dance. And now the text in bold. The fact that we know the Federation has the knowledge and the resources to solve all problems on Earth, and they do not move a finger, is unforgivable. The bold ends, answer continues, but on the other hand, we do understand that the job, the hard work to solve Earth's problems must be done by the humans themselves, or else they would not have learned the lesson, and they would fall again into old destructive habits. Okay, we are wrapping up. We have a few questions left here that I'm going to read. Leticia Ruiz Arroyo has the following question. Anéeka, because the universe is so big and there are hundreds of seeds here on Earth, because why only few races want to help humanity? Why only few races? Answer. They are all working with the idea that it must be done from inside. They are working for humanity as the Starseeds. They are their agents. We are here. We are here doing the work. You are referring to a direct intervention. But the hard work must be done from within, from members of humanity that are in reality non-humans in human biosuits. They do help, but not as we see needed now. And I asked this question from Yashar. Okay, and then we're going to have another one, and that's it for now. Yashar is asking, can some starseeds who are more than ready be extracted from here and help the rebels as people who have directly lived the current situation? Anéeka is responding to that question now, I think. Oh, yes, she responded. Sorry, didn't see. The response is very, very short. That's why I didn't see it very much. The response is, and many will be extracted. Yes, they will and do help. That's all. And now the last question was from Stars Deity. Why does the Federation seem to have a bias with the Cabal 1% instead of the rest of humanity, the 99%? Because this is how it looks like. Thank you. Okay. The answer is because the rest of humanity, one second. Because the rest of humanity has delegated their power to those 1% in the Cabal. Why that is so is complex, but mainly they have been duped into doing so. So even if they are the majority, they are legally in the hands of their representatives, that is the Cabal. I know this is terribly wrong, and this is also what we are working on. That was the last question. I'm asking Anéeka if she has any last comments. So don't ask any more questions, please. I know you are dying to know things and would love to have your questions answered, but I think a huge amount of questions has been answered, and I think you understand much better the situation and how it all connects with the Federation, etc. Well, thank you, Susan Donahoe. Happy New Year to you as well. And yeah, you're welcome. And thank you anybody else who are there supporting in those pink windows up there. I haven't been able to thank you personally. I wasn't looking at the chat. Okay. Last comments from Anéeka. They are coming. She's writing. You're welcome. Anybody who's saying thank you, you're welcome. No thanks to you for being open, for being receptive, and for being here and participating. Okay, the last comment from Anéeka. Be strong and protect yourself and your loved ones. Be wise, eyes open. Do all you can, and a bit more. But do not place yourself at risk unnecessarily, especially if you have family. Understand that there is only so much you can do about the situation and be okay with it. You do not need to sacrifice yourself to fight this. Protecting yourself is vital as well, and that is fighting as well. I love you all so very much. We will continue working with you and for you, the people, from this end. Anéeka. And she's sending a kiss as well. You're welcome, Anéeka. Thank you very much. That was just so amazing. Thank you for your efficiency and productivity and your answers. I loved all the answers, and I loved all your questions as well. Thanks to your questions, we could have good answers as well. So it's a common effort. And thank you very much to my helpers, to my helpers with the questions, because without them, I would not be able to do this as smoothly as it went. So thank you very much. So we stay positive, we stay hopeful. This is far from being over, I would say. And there are a lot of steps still to be taken. And let's see what happens. Okay? So thank you. Again, Victor McKinney says, we honor you, Anéeka. A lot of thank you for Anéeka. A lot of love. Okay. I'm saying goodbye. Goodbye to everybody in the orbit as well, who is listening or might be listening. And thank you to everybody on Earth who is listening as well. I'm going to leave now. Bye-bye, and until soon, until the next video or the next live or the next update. Bye, everybody. We continue, as always.